So this is a little video using boxing style striking from a fence and what types of fence are most conducive to what type of boxing strike. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the fence, go away and look it up elsewhere. There are other videos on that, so I don't want to spend too much time. But in reality, it's the barrier between you and another person, an aggressor, and that barrier should be natural. It should match the notion of talking hands and gestures. So the speed of your voice and the nature of your voice should be matched by the nature in which you hold your hands. What you're saying should match the non-verbal language of your hands. And ideally, they control some of this space without feeling too invasive or aggressive for this guy, unless you intend it to be invasive and aggressive. But the whole notion is it's natural, it's in between you and the guy. So at any one junction, and typically this is preemptive, you can fire a shot off when your hands are already in a decent place to do that. And alternatively, if you need to react, cover, block, move out the way, because your hands are already in that no man's land space, you can defend and move much easier than if you had the hands very tight to your body or very far away. So it's somewhere in between you and the person, and you're trying to dominate no man's land whilst calming and being nice and de-escalating and empathizing and all those wonderful things. But we're going to look at lamping people, because that's why you're here, aren't you? You're here for the lamping. So first, we're going to look at a linear style fence. Now, a linear style fence is essentially when my hands are covering the center line. So my hands are always maintaining. If it's me and Bob, hands are always in this middle space. We're calming down, we're placating, we're talking up here. Typically, it's central and it's high, like so. We're moving, we're being natural. Yep. So this linear style. Now, this linear style is most conducive for us throwing an altered straight. Now, we don't have the room or the range typically to fire, boom, a normal straight shot. We're going to be a bit more redacted. So some principles: if you can, try and align your elbow to your fist so you end up like so, stepping into the opponent, crunching that in and getting your body weight in the same direction and stepping in the same direction of the shot. So if we're being linear from here, at any one random moment, boom, we fire that shot in. From here, bang. So we step in, body weight comes in, elbow behind fist, and we crunch that in right on the button or the side of the jaw. There are some risks for going straight up the pipe. Namely, if you cock it up too low, you're going to punch him in the throat. Could be very dangerous. Cock it up too high, you're going to get a fistful of teeth. So this requires accuracy. If you're going up the pipe, you got to make sure that you're landing on the button. But you do want to make sure that you're stepping towards the opponent, that you're carrying your mass and your weight with you. That's the linear strike. Now, downfall of the linear is that your inside is power box. So he can strike you sympathetically, boom, boom. As soon as you flinch, you're going to be stuck in the same spot. So whilst it has benefits in that it's very direct, boom, very direct, talking, 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 boom, very direct, also means that you're directly in front of him too. But it has its pros and its cons. But essentially, you're talking, you've got the lineal fence, bam, and you're dropping this almost overhandish shot right onto the button. This will vary depending if he's much taller, much shorter. You will have to vary, but a lineal, bang, you're typically looking at short range, clipping straight. Short range, boom, clipping straight shot. If your hands are parallel, so we've got a linear, got a parallel. Now, parallel will be something like, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. You're making some type of exclamation or some type of point. So your hands fall outside of the shoulders. They fall outside the shoulders. It's quite passive. It matches lots of natural de-escalation conversation. It's a, I'm open, but I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm confused. It's this. This is universal for I'm confused. What a great thing about this is it naturally shrugs the shoulders. So if you're going to eat something, you've got a bit more protection against that wobbling head, which causes the knockout. So up here, you've got a bit more protection. So from here, from this open parallel style fence, we're going to land in a short, tight hook from either hand, but I'm going to use my right hand because it's easy for you to see. So we're going to get much closer. I don't understand. And again, I'm going to roll the elbow as high as I can on this, and I'm going to crunch the knuckles right into the side of the jaw. Now, the benefits of the side of the jaw is it's a bigger, longer target, which means that it's much safer for you to hit. It's much easier for you to hit because you've traded 1 inch for 4 inches. Also, what do we want? We want knockouts. And if we want a knockout, we want to shake the brain. Shaking the brain by hitting it from the side, it's a much better lever. You get much better wobble for your shot. So there's lots of benefits for that. And there's fleshy skin covering the teeth. So even if you're a bit high on your shot, you'll still get a decent wobble and you won't end up with a fistful of teeth like you might from the front. So there are lots of pros to be had from going from this parallel fence into a shot. Now, what you want to be remembering here is that this comes outside of his field of vision as well. So his hands, if his hands are a bit linear first, if his hands are already naturally linear, you might want to go to the outside and pop him around those hands. By the same token, if his hands are out, you might want to have your hands linear to pop him from the inside. So it's playing cat and mouse. It's just recognizing it's a bit like rock, paper, scissors. You know, every positive will also have its negative somewhere along the line. So if he's open, be linear. If he's linear, be open. That gives you some options to play with. So from this open parallel fence, open hands here, we're going to turn our hip, turn our shoulder, turn our foot, and we're going to crunch this shot in. So here we don't understand, bang, land that shot here. We want to make sure the elbow is high. That gives us not just decent body mechanics, but it also gives us some passive defense as well. Defense I don't need to think about because the meat of my arm is covering my jaw. So against a sympathetic shot, as soon as I flinch, he flinches. Having that elbow raised a little bit from here gives me some degree of cover. Boom, boom, and you crack him right across the jaw. Again, short, sharp, tight hook. It could be anywhere from nose to nose to about a foot away. So from here, bang, bang. You want to get that elbow as high as you can. Sometimes if you're very close, the fist will hit before your elbow gets time to cover. But if you get habit of high elbow, it will get somewhere. So from here, boom, boom, boom. You don't understand, bang, crack that shot in. Nice, short, sharp, tight hook from an open fence. Thirdly and lastly, we're going to have a mismatched fence. So this is where one is high and one is low, and there's some good benefits for this. One is that, let's say I'm de-escalating up here and suddenly in comes a sneaky stab, a sneaky gut punch. I've got something to defend down low, something to defend up high. The drawbacks are I'm no longer as robustly covered up high nor robustly covered down low. Not that you'd spend a lot of your focus covering down low unless you were very certain it was a blade. But high and low has some benefits. It's a good all-round area. So again, it's a bit like the linear, but in this instance, one is low and one is high, and you are talking, and that may change. Bear in mind that the cyclical nature of how you talk may change which is higher and which is lower at any one time. But in any case, which hand's higher and which hand's lower doesn't matter. But from here, what we're going to do is we're going to use the lower hand, and we're going to use a nice relaxed hand. We're going to fire the uppercut in from here. We're going to launch it from the hip, driving up at the foot, full rotation. Now bear in mind that we're not looking for a classical kind of boxing uppercut where we're doing a big nice roll, which would typically come at the end of a combination. So we might do a hook and then roll into the uppercut, hook and roll into the uppercut. We don't have that luxury. We find this preemptively. So the uppercut we're looking for here is more like an upside down straight, in that it does not loop per se, but fires with the hand supinated like so. So we supinate the hand, bang, fire that shot in. So again, we're here, mismatched heights on our fence. We're talking, we're being natural, we're preventing, we're discussing. And then as soon as we feel the need from the hand being down low, smash that straight up. Bang, from here, if this hand was low, bang. We're rocketing up the jaw. And again, what's the point? Shake the brain. So we're coming up underneath. Its main job is to rocket the head like this, so the brain wibbles in the hard skull. So the hand that's low rockets up like so. And depending on the range, it could be here, it could be here, could be relatively far. And again, it comes from underneath his field of vision. So you've got three. You've got straight down the pipe, like so. Bang, fire that shot in. Talking, 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 bang, fire that shot in. We've got a parallel. So we've got a linear, we've got a parallel. Don't know what the problem is. Raise your shoulders, tuck your chin, fire that shot, fire that shot. If it's a bit closer, the elbows are a bit lower, but it still does the business, using your hip, using your shoulder. And thirdly and lastly, you've got your mismatched heights, coming from down low, talking quite natural, and we fire this supinated uppercut right into the jaw. So those are three lovely ways you can use your boxing in a preemptive striking framework using the fence. Give it a play.